Hi, it's Chris at Epics again. This is part 3 of the short series of stock control videos, walking you through this time how to do stock movements from the mobile app. You may remember from the previous video in part 2 we did these various stock movements from the back office. Well, this is essentially the same thing, but how the engineers would do it using the mobile app. Now, in order for your system to manage stock, there are a variety of system options that do need to be turned on to allow it. Some of those are mobile app related, so if you're not sure or any of the menu items that I'm about to show you aren't available on your system and you think they should be, then do get in touch and we can get those sorted for you. So we'll begin by finding the stock control menu. On your Places to Go screen, you have the main menu icon on the bottom right hand side, and within there you'll have an option for stock. And this is where you find all the things that you need to do to be able to manipulate your stock. And some of the things you'll notice on here are similar to the back office system, where you can do things like moving stock from a depot, returning it to a depot and transferring between operatives. Now, the first thing that you can do is you can hit this button here to update stock information, and what that does is that performs a dial which then refreshes your mobile app and refreshes the stock items that you have. So say for example someone in the back office has issued you some stock in between your last dial and now, you can hit this button to refresh that information. The summary of stock held is essentially the stock levels report, but for you on your mobile app. So if we press that button now, we can see a list of items that we can scroll through. And of course, if you have many items, you can use the search bar at the top here to search for keywords or part codes to identify the products. And so whilst we've got our list restricted to one, you can see here that we've got the product code, the description of the item, and also we've got the unit of measure along with, crucially, the quantity that you've got in stock. So if we scroll down our list here, we can see this item here, we have the 2, and this one, we have 12 items in stock. Back onto the stock menu, I'm going to cover each of the items on this list that actually refer to moving the stock around. The item at the top of the list here, buy from supplier, I'm going to cover that on a separate video, as that's something that's not always included by default as part of the stock control. A lot of organisations don't have that turned on, and it does impact upon the back office a little differently with the purchasing side, so I want to show that in a separate video. So for now, we're going to begin with the collect from depot and return to depot options. So similar to the back office, when we hit collect from depot, we have the choice here, which we can use to type in this box, or we can click on the magnifying glass, where you'll then get a list of any of your stores, locations or depots within your organisation. So I want to collect from the MARKUS stores. Then, using the plus button here at the bottom of the screen, I can then add the items that I want to collect from the depot. So using the search field here for part or the magnifying glass, I can start to search for any items that match the descriptions that I'm typing. So let's say, for example, I would like to bring this particular fan switch here, product code ending in 37. There is the possibility to cater for serialized stock. So if you were moving any stock items that have a serial number that need to be tracked, specifically products that have got a serial plate that you're going to be tracking them, such as refrigeration systems or gas, you can enter that here. Otherwise, you just simply move on from most normal stock control to the quantity that you want to transfer from the depot. So in this case, I want to transfer 2 of those, and then I press next. We then get a little pop-up saying, do you want to add another item? So in other words, we can work our way through doing a stock picking exercise from the stores. So if I was to say yes, I then get given the same screen again, where I can then start to pick quantities and work my way through. Once you're finished, simply hit no, and this will take you back to the summary screen where you can review the items that you're about to collect from stores. So using the icons on each of them, you can delete them or you can amend the quantities. And of course, you could always, if you have forgotten things, add more here. But once you're done, you simply press accept, and what that will do is that will then perform the transfer of these items that you've selected from the depot that you've chosen at the top to you as the operative. So now, to prove that that's worked, if I go on to our summary of stock held, we can see here at the top of the list, product that we just transferred here and the switch where we had the 2 items here. The next item in the list, you've got return to depot. Now this, again, we select our depot and then we add the product from our mobile app. So in other words, the van stocks for the engineer, we add those using this button. And very similar to the screen you've just been using, we select the part that we want to return. Like the back office system, however, the options that you get within this list are only the items that are in stock against the particular operative using it at the moment. So let's take, for example, here, this 100mm G hanger. I want to return that to the stores. I then press next. I can work my way through further stock movements if I want to. Otherwise, I just simply press no. We get the summary screen, and to send it back, we press accept. We also have the option to transfer stock items to another operative. So if you're passing items from one person to another, you can do that using this menu here. All you do is, using this search field here, or the magnifying glass, is search for the name of the operative you want to send the stock items to. Press add, and then fill in the part details like we've done on the previous screens, where we select the product that we want to send and the quantity before then sending the item to that operative. We also have a menu item similar to the back office system, which is the return damaged stock. This allows us to send stock items directly back to the supplier using the fields here. And you can fill out the product code, the quantity you're sending back, how much you paid for it, and the reason why you're sending it back to the supplier. Finally, the collect order from supplier menu option. This allows the operative to collect any purchase orders that have been raised for them to collect direct from the supplier, and is the way of getting stock items from an order to be actual stock in stock against the engineer. Now you can see at the moment there are no orders to collect for this engineer. So if the office hasn't raised the order or it's not been approved yet in the back office, then you'll get a warning here to say that you don't have any outstanding orders to collect. So you can't proceed at this point. So you'd need to get in touch with your office. So now, assuming that our office has approved the purchase order or raised one, when we now go to the collect order from supplier menu, you'll notice that the warning message has disappeared. And when we click on the magnifying glass for the supplier address, you'll see only suppliers listed whom you've got orders for. So as you click onto the supplier, you can then move on to the order field, where again, if you've got multiple orders, you'll get a list, whereas if you just have the one, you'll see it like this. So when you click on that, that will then load up a summary of the order with each of the order lines shown below. Now you can amend the order based upon what it is that you're collecting. So if you're collecting additional items that are not on it, it is possible to make changes using the plus and minus buttons here. You can also correct the rates if they're wrong, but you can also, because you're collecting the order, you need to enter the delivery collection reference number here. Then once you're happy, simply press accept and then confirm the order is finished. You then need to specify how you're paying for the order. So this really does depend on your organisation and how this sort of thing is managed. Let's say, for example, it's paid for on account. Just simply selecting that payment method will complete that order. And now the items will be against the stock held by the operative. So if I click on the summary of stock held, we can see the cable tray, the wall mount socket, and the mains cable that were all on that order are now showing as items in stock to use. And that is how to use the mobile app to manage your stock control. Of course, any questions or if you want anything setting up regarding this on your own system, please get in touch. Thanks for watching.